Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Great to have you with us. Now in our first story, former President John Dramani Mahama has alleged that the opposition National Democratic Congress would have won majority in Parliament if there was no arm twisting in the election. He says the NDC was on the verge of winning more seats in Parliament until soldiers were brought in to twist the fate of the polls. Mr. Mahama is currently touring the Upper West region as part of his thank you tours. Let's get more details from Rafiq Salam, who has been following the former president. Rafiq, tell us, where has the president been? Rafiq Salam has joined us via telephone, rather. Rafiq, if you can hear me, tell us what the former president has been up to since he arrived in the Upper West region.
The former president John Dramani Mahama arrived in the Upper West region last night, where CEO supporters of the party met him at Bamako before he rode into town, take a victory lap of a sort before getting back to his hotel. And so this morning, he came to the One House Palace, where he met the overlord of the Walla traditional area, now pertaining to the people at the Pope and other some sectional leaders and religious leaders. And so we thank the people of the Upper West region for the vote that he's been able to pull in the Upper West region. He said that the vote of the Upper West region has increased significantly in the last election. And also, the number of parliamentarians also increased from the Upper West region, which has resulted in the number of seats that the NDC got in the country. He also alleged that the NDC were on the verge of winning majority in Parliament until they were arm twisted using soldiers to halt them in their stride. He also mentioned the issue of projects that have been abandoned. He talked about the Upper West Regional Hospital. He's called on the government to give the Upper West Regional Hospital a seed fund to enable it to work effectively. So he made mention that the hospital is operating but it's not functioning to full capacity. We also talk about roads in the Upper West region and also some that are outside Upper West region linking the Wa Solar Mumbai Road. He's saying that when he passed the road yesterday, it was not in the best of shape. And he's saying that during the Athena, they used to grade it, regrave it, and also even do patching every year. But since this government came, that has not been taken care of. And so these are the issues that I spoke about.
Rafiq, tell us about the response of the people. How have they been receiving Mr. Mahama?
Mahama, I will tell you, had a rousing welcome. And this is one of the strongholds of the NDC in the country. And so Mahama coming to the Upper West region, they don't have any problem in terms of organization.
Right.
Large crowd. I can report you that stream of people met him. But also one thing significant that was said at the One House Palace by the one who is spokesperson, Nakadir Ibrahim, has to deal with thanking Mahama for his conduct during the last elections because they think that he behaved like a sixth man and then he didn't do anything untoward, which really marked the beauty of the democracy that this country is having. And so for them, urging him on to put himself back on the ballot box in 2024. So the Ghanaians will vote for him to come and continue the good work that he started.
Did he respond to that? Did he respond to that specific call for him to run in the next election?
He didn't respond to that, but he's saying that there are CEO projects that the NDC started, and it's based on the reason that the NDC needs to be in power to continue with those projects. But he himself didn't talk about he running for the elections again.
Rafiq Salam, thank you very much for those updates. Now, the chief of Abisim, Brema Kumia Chow, says Richard Appiah, the prime suspect in the Abisim murder case, may not be mentally sound. He says he's convinced by the behavior Richard has exhibited in recent times. The Ghana Police Service has begun investigations into the murder of 3 persons at Abisim in the Buena region. This was after the service announced the arrest of a second suspect. Burma Kumia Chow has been speaking to journalists after the arrest of Richard Appiah.
So see, I call it a beautiful assent. To say, the Lord. Now you can say, I send you a by you say, a branchino, and yet on one cassa, name. It will be a naka training. What does one year I'm who say, Sabi, we were mentally challenged. Young and tea, so the reality. Now, if you echo our opinions, any from one day, you know, you be grab on Tina, Machino. And watching for signing up papa, a son, Papa Swasso, or you attempt to send her, or she never put you. One TV be do her, no more boy, ma, don't you say, man. Yesterday, I put it for IGP. If you mention as here, a mamma, a sefata, no, the slow mo say, or Monfaso. Now, yea, I'll be seen paying 4 years, many him for no. Yesterday, say, Akorana, and our branch now, who could be, sir, a woman, a Yenania. And you're not doing so. You said you are not doing it. So you will be IGP, and now push it for you. You should say, a baby year. You're finding come running. Now, you're not getting.
Now, some residents have meanwhile been expressing their shock at the turn of events in Richard Appiah's life.
Appiah no wono oyobia mfa say ni papa sinipi o hanom nti oba ha nchiri bia sa by enam ne maame store na ye wo ha no ntini enne magen yedi hu no epise tem bia oba ha mfa say ono ye kotokoni ha se na me so ye kotokoni nti biribia me ko no kra ba ho atinje kwa etim dibi no bia ko ne fie nti ono no min hu ni bibia wa yesa bida anase say wadidi obi ata anase wa ye ne enye wontam ha de min hu bida kopin say we see tin suban ya metumo ho aka ne say no kure ni wotini fie mi so mtim fie de bai ntamu ha de wonye adebo ni bia wo hada wa wunu da ho ye hwehwe no wonso na nku no fie ho nso a woda ho nso makọ akọhwe fie no mu na wa wo kan hu nti hona ya ntamu ha ye ntia ase no ana bo anso no kwani so bisi na dwin mu kana binyintu ebi say oya adwuma we so bia.
The driver of the U-Tong bus involved in the accident that claimed 10 lives at Gomwa has reported himself to the police. That crash was one of the 3 separate incidents which killed at least 20 in just 2 days. At Gomwa on Sunday dawn, 2 buses collided, killing 10 instantly, leaving 26 injured. The second accident in the central region, which killed 2, involved a Hyundai Sonata vehicle veering off its lane and running into a palm tree. Both accidents, according to the police, were a result of unsuccessful overtaking. Richard Kojonyako filed this report.
The first accident happened at 3 a.m. Sunday dawn at Gomwa. The night had already witnessed some showers of rain. 2 buses, one from Accra to Cape Coast and the other from the opposite direction. The 2 buses, it is reported, were overtaking vehicles ahead of them and collided after they were not successful in overtaking the vehicles ahead of them. 10 died on the spot, and it had to take the fire service team a huge task to retrieve bodies that were trapped in the remnants of the 2 vehicles and also undertake a rescue mission on survivors that got equally trapped too. Emmanuel Kwaku is a survivor of the accident and was on board the bus bus. He narrates what happened.
It all started when our driver had an overtaking first. When he was about to, after finishing his overtaking, he wanted to land or to be into his lane. So unfortunately, we saw that the other car has made another overtaking. So our driver wanted to save the other driver so that they did not collide or they did not crash. So unfortunately, all that we saw that the other bus, which has already done overtaking, has crashed our car at the back of our car. Then this is what happened. So the truth of the matter is both cars made an overtaking. Ours was very fast to finish his lane or whatever that he wanted to do. Then unfortunately the other one was not able to move into his lane because the other car was, it seems it was also having a top speed that caused the accident.
Winneba Municipal Fire Officer Henry Esiedu confirmed the incident and how they conducted the operations.
Later we have to extricate, we have to remove those who were trapped in the incident. And my men were able to bring out about 5 people who were trapped. 2 of them died. But in all, we have about 10 casualties now. We have 9 currently deposited at the Winneba Trauma Mortuary and 1 also at the Municipal Mortuary. But currently about 26 are on treatment at the Winneba Trauma Hospital. That spot that the accident happened is a hotspot. Accidents have been happening there. We attend accidents almost every week at that particular junction. That is that stretch between Winneba Roundabout and Gomwa. Yes, going to Ochekun. Accidents, we attend accidents very frequently there.
He is calling for extra exits to be made on passenger buses, so in case of emergencies, passengers may use the extra exit available on the buses to reduce the casualties.
So I don't know if the place could be lighted. We need street lights and maybe some fuel ramps at that particular point. In TBB, me as a safety winner, safety oriented, we feel say on us to be on the safe part, and we feel say buses here craning at least 2 doors. In case of an emergency, there should be an emergency exit.
Back here at the Trauma and Specialist Hospital, medical officials are working on the injured. Yamagi, a survivor, was traveling with her father and her son on the same bus. She seems to be in pain, but deeply concerned for her father and son too.
Midday ba me in the car tentin ko so abobom ma me be like mama na maka kama muso me be no nti me bag na de nyampo da wasika.
I didn't see anything. I was not sleeping too. What I saw was that a very long vehicle had rammed into ours. My child was calling me ma. I quickly held my child. My bag is still in the car and I saw my father hanging on the car. I'm yet to see my brother we were traveling with. He was the one who was directing us to where we were attending the wedding. And yet there was another accident that claimed 2 lives almost at the same spot on the same stretch. 2 people have been confirmed dead, while the other person is said to be in critical condition in an accident that occurred at Dominancy Junction on the same Kasua-Winneba Highway. 3 persons were in an unregistered Hyundai Sonata saloon car from Dominancy Junction towards Kasua, and upon reaching a section of the road, the driver made a wrongful overtaking and veered off his lane and subsequently crashed into a palm tree. 2 of them died. Residents are calling for the dualization of the Cape Coast Accra Highway. Not only that, they want street lights on the road that have malfunctioned to be fixed to improve visibility at night. The driver who was in charge of the Yutong bus, Isaac Kobner, age 34, reported himself to the police and is currently assisting police with investigations. The suspect was earlier sent to the hospital, treated and discharged. According to the Central Regional Police Command, 13 females and 11 male passengers sustained varying degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment at the Winneba Trauma Hospital. The other driver, who is now deceased, has been identified as Samuel Ba, aged 45. Meanwhile, the 12 bodies have been deposited at the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Mortuary. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejonya Akon, Winneba.
May the souls of the deceased rest in peace. Now, some traders at Makola Market are asking governments to speed up the clearing of the debris from the demolished structures which were ravaged by fire last month. The military cordoned off the area to pull down the over 80 structures which were affected by the inferno. But the traders say the areas which have been cordoned off have had a negative impact on their businesses. Some of them who spoke to Joy News say a further delay in clearing up the debris would make it impossible for them to fend for themselves and their families. Kwesi Parker Wilson is on the beat and he joins us with more. Parker, what have the traders been telling you? Right, Parker, can you hear me? Parker, if you can hear me, tell us what you've been learning from your interactions with the traders.
Daniel, if you can hear me,
right.
I'm saying that these traders, we must say, were not directly affected by the inferno. These are traders who plied their trade around and beside the buildings which were affected by the fire outbreak. But because the military, who are on the ground currently, together with the police and the Ghana Fire Service, have cordoned off the area because that area has been declared a construction zone. And any activity that would impede the work of the military and the police, of course, they want to avoid it. And again, with a construction site, for example, anything could happen to any individual, and that is what they've cordoned off the place. Now, because they work there, these women say that their wares, which normally are mounted on tabletops, they can't do that again. They have customers who have traveled all the way from Accra and Kumasi, Eastern region, to come and trade with them. Because of the situation, they were unable to trade with them. So they are just asking the authorities, particularly the AMA, to ensure that the debris, which I must say that the military have started clearing, should be done quickly so that by Wednesday they will have the space to continue with their trade.
Okay, are we hearing from the police or the military or the authorities about how long they would take?
No, not yet, but let's listen to some of the traders I spoke to earlier.
And I say, I'm 1 month ago, and they just saw a mall there where I flew Hong Kong. And Janet told me, no, I was say, you stop and see, you got 1 week. So I time the me and schedule. It's no all the information, but I say, I'm about baby Buena here this weekend. It's no more buy and pay a bassy about a buy, and somebody that dear trying a bubu building. Even though now ever had dream bubuno, a yes or my bubu, but today, yes, and I say, Omo Yan and Tamona, a binum message because of you all get Anquala, and only Sagana man a shank while out of drona. It will be all tonight for 1 day pa. Now go for how at the Abba. It will say as I see a bubu because he and Bubua almost see a form of crown. Now you're very dangerous to them. It's a normal Chawan or Mabua. Almost more than one clear my and tell at least by Wednesday. Now are you okay? Send a man who do one woman bet me about a shedra. Now I'm calling sweating me and you be at all.
It is about Wednesday night, so I'm cleaning up Munshedra. Then I have been at the baby.
Oh, there come on at the baby because do one eye or do how can say baby. A bit did loan a Juma. A been so no sabi or my craft. On say, and you'll be a person of a tramon, at one day, but I want you to clear yara. It is the yes, and say, Omo the Oman and Tamamaye. Now do one a woman or more show mano. Send uncle for half of floor and farm or money.
Much now then now, Tom.
Me patrometon ribbons. Nkwala ribbons in Impany 4D, and I'm a tongue. To me, say, Omo say 1 week crap, Omo there some back clear, and mano, at me about there because Nkwala Ninti, no matter me.
All right, thank you very much. So this woman sells ribbons here, and essentially what she's been saying is that they admit that government should demolish the structures because it posed a threat to the people who are applying their trade here. However, they need them to speed up the process. Most of them who work here are single mothers. They are the ones who are taking care of their children. So any further delay in the process of clearing the debris would really have a negative impact on their families and themselves as well. Some of them have about 3 children. They are the ones taking care of them. So today, for instance, since they are not making any money, it will be very difficult for for such a situation to continue for the next 1 week. So at most, they're expecting government and the authorities, particularly the AMA, to ensure that by Wednesday, they're able to clear the debris to allow them also resume their trading activity. Mommy, I'm also on Casa briefly.
And that was Parker Wilson at Makola. Many thanks, Parker, for joining us. Let's move to the other parts of the country and pupils of the Buena Primary School in the Katsina-Nankana West District of the Upper East region are not exactly looking forward to returning to school when their current vacation is over. This is because the roof of one of their classroom blocks has been blown off by a storm. As a result, they are forced to end their lessons and close for the day anytime it is threatening to rain. Correspondent Albert Sori, who visited the school just before they went on vacation, reports that some of the children have stopped attending school because of that situation.
In March this year, a rainstorm blew away more than half of the roof of the upper primary block of the Buena DA Primary School in the Katsina-Nankana West District of the Upper East region. Since then, school authorities have struggled to manage with the situation. They are compelled to combine 2 classes in 1 classroom for lessons, and this is creating congestion and lots of discomfort for the pupils. The headmistress and teachers sit under this mango tree to do administrative work because the roof of their office was also blown off by the storm. Headmistress of the Buena Primary School, Rebecca Alugovila, says children in the community are losing interest in education because of the precarious situation at the school.
This situation has also brought the enrollment of the schools down because parents are afraid that when they bring their work, in case any other rain is coming, it may blow off the remaining roofing sheet on top of the building and may wound their children. The enrollment is getting down. Parents are refusing bringing their walls because the place is not a safety place for the children.
Members of the Buena community, in their effort to help solve the problem, mobilized some funds to try and erect a temporary shelter for the pupils. But that project has stalled due to lack of funds. According to the assembly member for Buena, Frederick Aovere, a decision was taken to erect the new shelter instead of re-roofing the existing classroom block because engineers at the district assembly advised them to do so.
We were able to raise about 12,000 Ghana cedis, which we went to consult our engineer, the district engineer, where the advice was given to us that the school is beyond repair. That's the whole structure. So it would not be prudent for us to use that little fund in trying to maybe repair the whole structure. Thereby we started with this foundation that we want to raise a pavilion for people to be able to learn in. We are thereby pleading to the government to try and come to our aid.
School enrollment has decreased from 200 pupils to 164 in the just ended term alone, according to the headmistress. Those children at the school who are still determined to keep pursuing their academic dreams despite the challenges are calling for help.
Storm has destroyed our school for a long time, so we are begging government to come and help us. Now, we are forced to sit in one class. Teaching and learning is difficult for us, so government help us.
For now, the pupils and teachers of the Buena Primary School can only pray for the arrival of the dry season, for it is their only hope of having uninterrupted days and maybe lessons at school. For Joy News, Albert Sori, Buena, Katsina-Nankana West District.
Now, you're live on Joy News today. Now, for today, persons riding motorbikes in the Upper West region cannot use pillions after 6 p.m. That's an order from the Regional Police Commander ACP Peter Indekuguri Anabugri. ACP Anabugui has also banned the use of motorbikes or Motor King tricycles at night. He says these measures will help fight crime in the region. From Wa, Rafiq Salam has this report.
New Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Peter Ndekuru Anaburi, takes office and swore to go after the criminals, even at the peril of his life.
I am the chief watchman for the region, for that matter, and not a commander. I am not going to sit in my room and be sleeping, snoring, and say I'm the commander, when the next day crime is everywhere. And that is why I have to put up this measure. And by putting up this measure, I myself, together with my two IC, we need to supervise the officers that we have detailed them to execute the plan that we have drawn. I am not ready to succumb to any pressure. You like it or not, let's go by what I am saying, and the region shall be peaceful and calm for you and myself.
He outlined strategies and measures to fight crime and illegal parking of vehicles on crowded streets in the region.
No two young men shall be on a motorbike after 6:30 p.m. Whether you like it or not, that is, I want to tell you that security is very, very expensive. And if you don't create inconvenience, you can never get security. I want to tell you, I want to assure you. In Boku, for instance, it got to a time for 2 years, men were not even allowed to ride motorbikes. And yet, they were able to maintain the peace. So please, we should not take peace as a joke. Please, you bear with me that now our roads have now turned to I don't know whether it's supermarket or what. You go and see the motor seller, everything is on the road. I've entrusted that to the MTTU, and they are going to ensure that they will put them before court.
The issue of passengers, spare riders, and picking up a passenger in a tricycle already having 2 occupants also came to the fore.
No picking of Kambu after you have picked somebody in the night who's going home and you have charged him. Oh, I'm passing here to pick somebody. It's unacceptable. And this will be made to the public. Even the police who are coming to supervise the disembarkment will ensure that if they pick a Kambu, nobody is sitting in the Kambu except the driver and the driver alone.
Motor King tricycle operators, known locally here as Nyaba Lorry, were also not left out.
Nyaba lorries would not be permitted in the night. Nyaba lorries. I've taken observation that all the break-in in the night, they always carry Nyaba lorry to go and put all their booty inside. So I am going to sit down with my MT, draw up a permit. It will announce it on the radio. If you have anything and you know that you this in Nyaba lorry, I'm going to do ABC in the night. Please, you come to the MTTU for permit. If I pick in Nyaba lorry in the night, the next day you are going to court.
Having listened to the Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Peter Ndekuru Anabuguri, will roll into town to speak to tricyclists about the abuse concerning the press conference.
Teenagers riding the Kambus. At times you apprehend one with a Kambu and he said it belongs to the father. That it doesn't belong to you. That you are not a policeman. But now that the police is giving us this and the power, we can do that and even call the nearest police to arrest the person and go and detain him till the owner come, then the police will take the necessary measures against the person.
However, there is no groundswell of support on the move to ban riding with pillion after 6:30 p.m.
The regional commander have to understand that in Upper West region, motorbike is the easiest means that we are having. And the time 2:30 is mentioning is too odd. At least you should have even moved it from somewhere 10 a.m. going, 10 p.m. going. I think that would be the best time.
After 6:30, I think that's the time most people are even going to the house. So if you say you can't pick somebody after 6:30, I think the time is a little bit too harsh. You should bring the time at least 10 p.m.
However, there is mixed reaction on the dismantling of camps after 12 midnight.
Some of them, if you look at it, it's an unemployment issue. If somebody gets a work and go to the work site and come out, definitely you'll be tired and you'll be asleep. Actually, for me, I don't have any work, so I can roam up to tomorrow. We are having people that in this community, every day they sleep tomorrow, every day they sleep tomorrow, every day they sleep tomorrow. So for this one, here is a good decision. But if there's a work for the youth, we'll sleep at a normal time. But if there's no work, we'll sleep every day tomorrow, every day tomorrow, every day tomorrow.
This rainy season, you will leave your wife, this cold weather, you will leave your wife and come and sit at the camp for getting to 12. What are you doing there? I think there are seasons that you can sit beyond But for this season, rainy season, the weather is too cold, there are mosquitoes everywhere. At least by 7, 8, 9, you should be in the house.
The major stumbling block in the fight against crime in the region is the subculture of the people, normally referred to here as Ijabuyini. To wit, we are all one. Here, the courts are not used to solve the issues. The people prefer to solve them outside. ACP Peter Ndekure Anaburi has two options: to fight crime using the law courts or use the Tijabuyini subculture and fail woefully. Time surely will be the best judge. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam.
Now, government has been asked to draw useful lessons from the impacts that the COVID-19 pandemic has had and build social protection structures that would better protect the country's most vulnerable in case of another crisis in future. Civil society groups have been monitoring the impact of government's policy interventions during the pandemic have met to make recommendations for the future. Christina Bedema works with the United Nations Children's Fund.
We were working with the CSO platforms, and some of them went to monitor some of the interventions that were put in place by government during the lockdown and also what has been happening since March 2020. So a lot of work has been done and many interventions were in place. But it's important that we reflect as stakeholders to understand what the gaps were, the challenges, what should we learn from this, and what is it for us as a country, what can we do better. So we partnered with the St. Ghana and the European Union to organize this forum, to be able to bring together partners to have this kind of reflection and also make sure that going forward, we make sure that our system is more robust and more prepared to respond to emergency situations.
Now, Dr. Esther Ofe-Abuaji, who coordinates the platform of CSO groups in social protection, told Joy News on the sidelines of the meeting that there was no need for citizens to demand social protection as a right and not a handout for government.
Even though we do social protection in Ghana, the attention to rights has been lacking. So because of that, the social protection that we do is often not properly prioritized. Sometimes you see that money is finished. Sometimes the targeting, there are arguments that the people who should really benefit, the people who are at risk, who are poor, are not getting the support that they need. And so it emerged that we should have, or we should stimulate a conversation on promoting rights as a basis for doing social protection.
Dr. Esther Ofe-Abuaji there saying that there is indeed a need for citizens to demand social protection as a right from government. You're live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazid. Up next is Business with Daryl Crowell.
Good afternoon, welcome to Business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Toronto-headquartered shared mobility startup Plenty Waka has acquired Starbus, one of Ghana's mobility startups, to expand its operations on the African continent. Plenty Waka's acquisition of Starbus comes in the wake of announcing a seed round of $1.2 million only 2 months after successfully ending the Techstars Toronto Accelerator program in July 2021. Johnny Inagwolo is co-founder of Plenty Waka.
There's going to be a paradigm shift, all right, in the public transportation space. We all travel at most times. You mentioned about Toronto and how the public transportation system is coordinated, even though they still have a lot of gaps, because we have been speaking to the mayor of Brampton for a couple of months now, and we've actually identified those gaps. But coming back to Africa, I don't know whether is maybe more like a lineage thing where we're getting used to, you know, the bad system where we just embrace everything, you know, that comes our way, and because we don't have alternatives, we just want to work with it, you know. So, and I think it's a high time where Africans, you know, should be able to access better public transportation system. We all travel out and we see all of this happening, you know, overseas and all of that. It can happen in Africa. And we want to change that. People don't need to go through awful experiences. For instance, I should be able to predict my daily commute from the comfort of my home, have access to an app where I can just check the number of buses coming my way, and also know the number of seats available in those buses, book my ride. I know the estimated time of arrival it will take the bus to get to my bus stop. And when it gets to before it gets to the bus stop, I'm already there, and I use my QR code to actually check into the bus. And what that gives to us, it gives you this comfort, and it gives you convenience. It also gives you the safety that we are all looking for. And people are guaranteed, because that you can actually track your daily movement, and you can also plan your trips. We now have people who plan their trips for like a month, and they just fund, we call it Waka Pause.
Okay.
You fund your Waka Pause for a month, and you know that this is the cost that will take you for the whole month. Unlike you waiting for the Troy, if it comes, you use it. If it doesn't come, I mean, so you cannot plan your trips for a month and a period of time.
Well, Starbucks, started by Isidore Potofe, was featured on the Joy Business Van in 2019. It operates an app which allows users book for public transport services. Mr. Potofe will now become the country manager for Plenty Waka Ghana. He has been speaking to Joy Business about the partnership.
I think for us, the challenges in public transport need very bold moves, need the big solutions, and I believe that we can only do that with partnership, with combined resources. Plenty Waka has proven themselves in the Nigerian market. They have raised money, and they believe that, look, they have to expand to other countries as well. And we believe that we also have to scale our service beyond the small buses that we have now. And that's how the partnership is going to play out. Plenty Waka is going to come in to invest in the Guinean market with our expertise to scale the service. So if we're running 10 buses today, which is the case, we'll then scale to 20 next month, 30, and so on and so forth. So within 18 months, our plan is to put about 100 buses on the road in Ghana. So you can imagine putting 100 quality air-conditioned buses with quality service on the road in Accra. The impact will be significant, I believe.
Final one. You're going to be the country manager. So, I mean, what are your immediate responsibilities, or what should we expect?
So the first one is to properly set up Plenty Waka Ghana, as a proper business. The second one is to put up the best team, the best talent that can help us achieve our vision. The next one is to put buses on the road, buses that can provide the best service. And I think the last one, which would be forever, is to ensure that the people get the best service at all times, and people not just small but in scale. So that's really my responsibilities, and hopefully I believe that we can deliver on that.
All right, and that's our business update for now. There's more coming up on the marketplace at the top of the hour. Sports is up next.
Good afternoon. Time now for sports on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Black Stars coach CK Akono claims that Ghanaians are pessimistic about the national team's ability to win the next edition of the African Cup of Nations. According to him, the pessimism stems from the fact that the team has not won the trophy in nearly 40 years, but he's confident in the potential of the players to end the trophy drought.
Well, I think what will take us to win is a bit of brilliance from all of us, good team spirit, and this I call for all of you, including you. I mean, we all have to now change from where we are to a bit of positivity. The fact that I know some people doubt if we'll be able to make it or not. It's not about that again. Now, we've all been yearning for this opportunity to go and win the AFCON. We want to do it. We've all been talking about, but we have been negative. And so we need to change that aspect of our thoughts and thinking. Of course, we don't have any other group of players. The ones we have are the ones we're using now. If you remember the last few matches, we've really maintained a certain crop of players. And that if there's any other player that is good, doing well, we'll bring him in. And that is what we're doing. And we believe that gradually we be able to find ourselves in a certain way. We understand what we have to do at every given time. Ethics of work on the field of play, we do understand that. And I think we've moved on from a certain position to a very positive. I believe that now the team is positive. The team has found itself. We have structures which will try in this strategy to improve in that area. And I strongly believe in the squad, you know, and I hope all of you will also do that. Like I said earlier on, yes, I understand, because in the last few years we've tried to come closer, and it's not worked, and so we sort of been a bit negative when it comes to the national team, and that's what my message to all of you: to be positive, think positive. We've been dreaming about it, we want it, and we'll find a way to get it. At the moment, it doesn't look, you know, to all of you, but to me, I believe in the squad. I believe that this will happen.
Still on CK Akuno, he has revealed that he has not been paid for 7 months. Speaking to the media on Friday, CK said, contrary to media reports that his outstanding salary has been resolved, he's yet to receive a penny.
Well, you're talking of my salary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been corrected. I think it was, I think, yesterday and today it's again in the media that is not true. And so I'm sure the FA has taken it over in telling you guys that is not the case. That have been, I think, 7 months paid. That's not the case. In terms of bonuses and stuff, the FA is in charge of it. My focus is more of how we play and how. But I believe that FA has, you know, spoken. The plan is already in place together with the sports minister. There wouldn't be any issues when it comes to the time to the tournament.
That is your sports for now, but we do have more sports stories to share with you on myjoyonline.com. Up next is World News.
You're live on Joy News today. Many thanks for joining us. This is where we wrap up today's bulletin. My name is Daniel Daze. Up next is The Marketplace with Charles Aite. See you tomorrow.